Call hello Yahweh Bashem Yabashai Bashem Akakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great male son of well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to these sincere brothers and sisters students, wherever you are, whatever your life may be. This is just a quick article that we're going to cover. And I wanted to wait a couple of days because I wanted to see what else came of it. I haven't seen anything as of yet. And so this is all, we're for the sake of, this is all alleged, all right? But what I want to get first off, before we even start, is that you know a tree by its fruits. Now, Yahushua was talking about, false prophets in this thing, but you can liken this to what we're about to grab, because essentially what it means is that, what's in a man's heart is going to manifest, okay? And what manifests in physical actions, okay, especially a series of physical actions. Like this person has a history, we'll say this person has a history of reacting a same way or doing the same thing over and over when they're put in situations. You can tell the type of person they are, how they respond, okay, the words they choose to speak. Every little thing you pay attention, especially when you know that you are dealing with your enemy. You pay attention to everything that they do. You monitor. It's like watching film, okay? And that's what these scriptures do. They paint a picture. And I'm supposed to be at Matthew, not Mark. They paint a picture for you, and you can always look back and see, okay, I've seen, a little deja vu. This is your film, okay? It's your film before game day, or your game day film, right? So you can see how to go about dealing with your opponent. How are you going to score? How are you going to get the upper hand? So this is Matthew 7, and we're going to go to 15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves, all right? And again, this is, the Lord talking about the wicked of our people, but we know that their father is the devil. All right, the physical representation of Satan here on earth is E, okay, the so-called YT. So that's how we're going to make this, we're going to bridge this scripture, this precept here, okay? We read 15, right? And of course you see they're in sheep's clothing, but they're like ravening wolves. So that's also, where the scripture tells you, his words were peaceable, his words were smooth, but war was in his heart, right? Yet he was drawing swords. That is them. Very subtle, right? And Genesis 3 tells you the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. And you understand that the serpent, that is a spirit that is on somebody, and that spirit is guiding their actions, their actions and reaction, okay? And you see that spirit is came to Cain, and then it went to E, and E had a bunch of descendants, and now you have, as we'll get into this article, you'll see which specific tribe is known, and they love it. They love doing those FALSE, FLAGS. That is their bread and butter, baby. They love it. All right, and you got to be in the spirit to piece it together. You'll always know by the fruit. Okay. Verse 16, ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. So you cannot be confused. All right? Good bringeth forth good, evil bringeth forth evil. There is no in between. Okay? Because if you have the spirit, all right, if you have the uprightness and the integrity, you wouldn't do certain things. All right. Complete wickedness would not be in your wheelhouse, would not be in your realm of action. But let's skim through this article, and we'll get, 4 or 5 more precepts here, and then that'll be it. But it's just something, just kind of help you tie it together to always watch the people around you. Always watch who you allow around you. Watch what you say. Watch who you talk to. Be weary. Be weary of any and everyone, okay? And when you are trying to uncover some truths, all right, you need to look through the context clues, or you need to look through the fruit that is produced. And that can be a lesson for many different ways, all right? Or many different instances. Okay, so Venezuela accuses of plotting, okay, you see that word there, that, that they love, okay? And when I say they, you know who I'm talking about. As a nation, but there's a specific tribe. Okay, the head tribe. You can go to Psalms 83, and it tells you the enemies, and it says the entire nation of E, and then it mentions a specific tribe. Okay, who is the grandson of E. Anyway, it has thwarted, Venezuela says, what it calls a 3-letter agency-linked plot to attack U.S. warship. Now, and I'm pretty sure maybe they port in Trinidad. I don't know. I'm not sure. I wasn't in the Navy, but innocent lives had that went successful. Innocent lives would have been put in danger, and for what? For nothing, simply for greed. And that is what our service is. It boils down to. Anybody that has ever been. You put your life on the line. You have incurred ailments, irreversible damage to your body, most of us, for greed, for someone else's greed. And it's a sad thing to think about, really. But anyway, it claims the U.S. Would have blamed them, and allegedly, history does show if we pull a credit report. We pull a proverbial credit report here, it will show that holds to be true, okay? The allegations come days after Venezuela said it has arrested mercenaries that allegedly were connected, okay, to who they were connected to. You see it on the screen. Venezuela Foreign Minister Ivan Gil said in a statement he had advised Trinidad and Tobago of the alleged op, okay? There's a criminal cell financed by 3-letter agency and linked to this covert operation is being dismantled. Interior Minister Diosdado, sorry, brother, I don't know how to say that. Diosdado Cabello, I guess is how you say it, said at least 4 had been arrested, and Venezuela, which regularly claims to have arrested Babylon-backed mercenaries, did not give further details about it, which would be smart not to, reveal what all you know or what all somebody may have said, okay, or what all they have uncovered by finding 4 or more people. They may even said that's what I would do. I would say that I found 4, but really I found more, and kind of leave, to whatever. Anyway, the U.S. has already launched several airstrikes on vessels in the Caribbean, saying that alleges were involved in the trafficking, killing 43 people, right? So you read about that before. That happened earlier in the month of October. He was mounting a military campaign in international waters was against alleged, okay? And a couple of those people lived. The lie got exposed there. Okay, Venezuela claims Babylon is working to oust the president, who Washington does not recognize as a legitimate leader, which, hey man, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, right? He is making full use of his so-called free will. Just, I don't recognize you as a legitimate leader, so we're going to do whatever we want. We uphold justice. We are the light of the world, but it's actually darkness. Habakkuk. Apparently I can't talk and look at the same time. Habakkuk 2 and 5. This is another milk one, but just holds so much weight. Yea, also because he transgresseth. For, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth, that's a hard word for me to say quickly, by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, whom enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And we could even throw in there all real. Well, what goes under nations is resources, all right? Because when people don't want to allow themselves to be exploited, next thing you know, they are a problem and they need some freedom and democracy dropped off to their doorstep. Just kind of remind them who they are. And you see it because he transgresseth by wine. If you read through a bunch of the operations that did go successful, because there are so many that were unsuccessful, I kind of shudder to think about what actually went right, because why would you hear about anything that went right? Okay, the only reason why they have to tell the truth about the ones that didn't go right is because, they didn't go right, obviously. Self-explanatory. But that wine also... reminds me of Jeremiah 51 and 7, where it says, Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, and it made all the earth drunken, and the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. And what it kind of reminds me of is, in a small level, is how, certain agencies go to other countries, and the first thing they try to get control of is the airways, the radio, the newspaper. They sow dissent via information or broadcast. And who is the prince and power of the air? And who controls the media that you see? All right, the state-backed media that you see here in Babylon. And keep tying these things together. All right, you know them by their fruit, what they do. A series of decision-making, a series of actions, okay, that have been the same for a long, long time. You just need to piece it together through the Spirit, right? So I'm not going to say too much. You just pray. Hopefully you picking up what I'm putting down. All right. So we read Habakkuk 2. I did Jeremiah 51 and 7 as a precept. I read that verbatim. Jeremiah 13. Because I'm talking about the same old tactics over and over and over, right? What does Jeremiah chapter 13 tell you? Verse 23. Can an Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. Right? This is their custom. Malachi says they are the border of wickedness, and that is put everything, every scripture, the way it is structured, the way, it is written, and how and where it is put is all for a reason. Especially they chose the word chosen to be border. All right. And we'll close on Revelation 6 and 4. All right, in the spirit of consistency, okay, if we if we flip over on the other side here from secular history to biblical patterns, that pattern always links red and crimson and dragon and sword to a certain group. All right, and it is up to you through the Spirit to understand what needs to be understood. Revelation 6 and 4, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Whose blessing was it after he squandered his first one that was, in the flesh meant for him, but not in the spirit. All right, it was ordained in the heavens to always go to Jacob. You can piece that together in the scriptures with ease. Okay. But then what was his other blessing, right? By the sword, by thy sword shalt thou live and have the fatness of the earth, which is the reason why they do the things that they do, to get the fatness of the earth, all right? And if you want to roll back into secular history and see the failed attempts. You can look that up on the internet. You can even pull it up on whatever chat or Grok, whatever you use. But I'll list a couple that you can look in. You know, I'll throw you a bone here. 1949, all right, the Syrian coup. 1956, Operation Straggle, which was also straggle, like straggling along, which is also in Syria. Same year. This is 1956 through 1967, the Tibetan Uprising support. 1960, Congo. All right, that's the Lumumba, Patrice Lumumba, okay? Obviously, the one that you hear all the time in 1961, the Bay of Pigs. And I think that there is even another one way later in the early 2000s, maybe called the Bay of Piglets or Operation Piglet, something like that. But 1961 in Cuba, okay, Bay of Pigs. Throughout the 60s in Cuba in general, all right, there were, God, man, who knows, maybe plus, I don't know how many. It was a number of attempts, 63, the Iraq coup. All right, and that's Karim Qasim. 1963, Vietnam. All right. In 65, Indonesia coup. And these are all, you know, supporting the backings. That's just a few. That's what let me see. You can pull it up. You can pull up the rest. All right. 96 was Afghanistan. All right. 92 in Iraq again. 91 in Haiti. Good grief. There's so many. So you can look that up on your own. Okay. Become enlightened. So with that being said, man, I truly pray that you're edified. Continue to be repentant. Continue to walk upright and strive righteously to the best of your ability. All right. Pray daily and remember that He is. Because we are walking in literally to a belly of the beast. We are walking, we live in it, but I should better say the bile is rising. All right. So we need a covering from the bile that is in the belly of the beast. All right. So shalom.